Oh boy, you guys are gonna get a little brother! Or, from how this game looks, it's as if these two got married and had a child. What is up, you guys? It is Zach coming at you with another video. Now, yes, Super Mario Party Jamboree just got announced in yesterday's Nintendo Direct, and I have got a lot of thoughts about it. In fact, the outline that I have for this video right over there is freaking long. I've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to try and dive into as much as I can without making this video overly long, and this should be basically the bare basics of what you'll need to know about this game. So, if you enjoyed this video and are excited about another new Mario Party game, then definitely subscribe down below. I will be making a bunch of videos covering this game going up until the game's launch, and of course I will be live streaming it with some of my friends when the game comes out. It's going to be a lot of fun, so stick around, buckle in, and get ready for the road to Mario Party Jamboree, or Super Mario Party Jamboree. So starting off, yes, that is the name of the game, Super Mario Party Jamboree. I really hate this name. It's way too long. Wait, why is it this long? But regardless, I'm still really excited for it. Even though it's a sequel to Super Mario Party, it doesn't feel like it's a sequel to Super Mario Party. I mean, it does, but it evolves on what Super Mario Party did in so many different ways, and that's what we're going to really dive into in this video, so I'm really excited for this. So before we get into the details of the game, when does it come out? It is coming out in just a few months, on October 17th, 2024. Now, this is sticking to Nintendo's Thursday release thing, as this is going to be releasing on a Thursday as opposed to a Friday, so keep that in mind. But I'm very excited for this game to come out then. It's only a few months away, and I'm very excited. Now, I want to quickly point out something that I talked about in my reaction quite a bit, as this was the big fear I had after looking at that trailer that I feel like Nintendo did a poor job of conveying to us. As we know, this is a sequel to Super Mario Party, and Super Mario Party basically restricts us to only using single Joy-Con play, and forces motion controls upon us, and as you guys know, I hated that, and this trailer only really showed us people using single Joy-Cons, so naturally that led me to believe that this game was going to have only single Joy-Con support. Upon further inspection from the European Nintendo website, it seems that the force motion controls and single Joy-Con options are optional, not required. You do not need to use them. You can't even use them for online play, so it seems that they are thankfully taking that stupid restriction out, which means that not only can you use Pro Controllers, but you can also play in handheld mode. So that means Switch Lite owners will be able to take full advantage of this game. So that is a huge plus. That's a huge win and automatically makes this game 10 times better for me. So thank you, Nintendo, for listening to lots of people's complaints from that last game, because that makes this game immensely more appealing. Alright, I gotta pull out the laptop for these next bits because there's a lot I gotta read here. So, at the current moment, we have 20 confirmed playable characters, and they are as follows: Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Wario, Waluigi, Yoshi, Birdo, Rosalina, Toad, Toadette, Bowser, we'll come back to Bowser in a second, Bowser Jr., Koopa Troopa, Goomba, Boo, Monty Mole, Shy Guy, Spike, and Ninja. Even though he isn't in that group picture with all the characters, we can see him buying a star here. Hey y'all, Editing Zach here. Just wanted to let you know I forgot a character because I'm a dummy. I forgot Donkey Kong. So Donkey Kong is also playable in this game, even though I completely forgot to say him. So that is 20 confirmed playable characters, and I'm assuming there's going to be more. I'm going to guess that there's a total of 22, probably like Super Mario Party. So I'm guessing characters like Dry Bones, Diddy Kong, Hammer Bro, maybe even Blooper, they'll probably be unlockable later on. They're just not showing them off here, especially because of the fact that there is a 20-player mode, so having more characters to choose from just kind of makes sense. Now, let's talk about the boards, because there are 7 confirmed boards that we've got so far. So I'm going to say the name of the board, and I'm going to give a little bit of a speculation on how this board is going to work, because I do think that there are going to be board gimmicks for each board, as we've kind of seen in the trailers. So let's get started. firstly, we have Mega Wiggler's Tree Party. I feel like this board is going to be kind of a standard board, but the main gimmick is that in the middle there is a Wiggler, and as you can see there are 4 entrance points to that middle section. So I'm guessing if you go into that middle section, you could ride Wiggler to get to a different point of the map a little more quickly than just going all the way around. Other than that though, I feel like it's going to be a standard board. Buy your stars for 20 coins, you know, get as many as you can, and then that's the game. That's kind of what I feel. Next up is Roll'em Raceway. Now, this one we don't know too much about. There's not much to really gather from the actual footage here, but here's what I'm kind of thinking. I think what they could do here that would make this board pretty interesting is they showed off in this board that you can get a 4 dice block item, so you can roll 4 dice blocks and get up to 40 spaces in one turn, which is the most in any Mario Party game. So I feel like distance matters here. You want to go far really fast. So what I'm thinking is, given that it's also a racetrack, for each lap you complete, that's where you get the star. It's almost like a linear board, except you're going in a circle the whole time. When you complete the lap, you have the choice to buy a star for 20 coins. If you can't afford it, then you have to do another lap and save up 20 coins. Whoever obviously has the most stars at the end wins the game, and by extension, whoever does the most laps at the end of the game wins the game. So think of it kind of like whoever gets the highest dice rolls will win this board. I could see it being very infuriating for people who do not have good luck in rolling high dice rolls. But this is completely a theory, this is not confirmed, it's just what I think makes the most sense for this board. We'll just have to wait and see when it actually gets confirmed. Next up is Goomba Lagoon. Now this one we actually do kind of know a bit about. This one's going to be another general you go around and collect the star board. But every few turns there will be a flood that will block off certain paths from you taking. So you have to plan out when the flood's going to happen, if it is a pre-planned event every few turns, or if it's something that a happening space can cause, then you might want to avoid those happening spaces if you can, or hit them if it might block a teammate from getting a star or going somewhere advantageous to them. I think this is my most excited board just because it seems really strategy-like, it seems very intricate, and I love the theming of the pirates and the Goombas, very much like Goomba's Booty Boardwalk from Mario Party 8. Next up here is Rainbow Galleria. Now this one is a board based off of a shopping mall. This one's probably the most uniquely themed board of this whole entire game, and I'm really excited to give it a shot. And what I think this board's general theme is going to be, which is shown in the trailer, is that every few turns there's going to be a flash sale where the stars are cheaper, 10 coins to be exact. So maybe you want to save up your money and try to get a bunch during the sale. But the board is also pretty big, so I feel like that would be kind of a weird gimmick, given that the star, if it moves, you might not be able to get to it in the sale period. I don't know, maybe it's one of those kind of boards where you want to save up on dice blocks so you can move really far and try to get as many as you can in a certain amount of turns. I'm not sure. I'm really interested to see how the gimmick of this board plays out. The last new board is King Bowser's Keep. Now, this board is the Bowser board of the game, and it seems like a pretty standard Bowser board. I can't really think of a main gimmick for this one, but what I will say is a bit interesting about this board that we don't really see too often with Mario Party boards, or I really think there's no Mario Party board that does this to my recollection, is that the start space goes to a trail leading up to the main board. So unless you're sent back to the start, those first few spaces will never be accessed again. Which I don't think affects the gameplay of the board at all, but it's a really interesting detail to point out here because I don't know if that's really ever been done before. But yeah, standard Bowser board, I don't really know what more special they can do given what we see here. Okay, so we also have 2 returning boards from Classic Mario Party, which I really like. I hope that in future Mario Parties they do hand select a couple from the old games to add alongside the new ones. Because A, that makes their board making load a lot easier, like 5 new boards and 2 returning. I like that strategy. But also, the old ones are just certified classics, so bringing them back just makes sense. But the first one I'm going to talk about is Mario's Rainbow Castle. This one's returning from Mario Party 1, and the main gimmick of this board is that it's a linear board, and basically your objective is to get to the end. At the end, it'll either be Toad or Bowser, and when you get there, Toad will either give you a star, or Bowser will take away a certain amount of coins. or it could be a star or something in this game. They could have changed that, but nevertheless, it's all about, you know, who gets to Toad first, and then when you get to Toad, it'll flip to Bowser. So it's a game of chicken and trying to get up to Toad as quickly as possible. And then the last board is Western Land returning from Mario Party 2. Now, this board is a pretty standard board, not too much to say about it. It's very, very simple. It's very, very big, but it's also a standard 20 coins, get the star, just a very standard, simple Mario Party board, which I like. I really, really like this board, so I'm very happy to see it return here. Again, though, Mario Party 3 really got the shaft. Now, it is possible that there could be unlockable boards. Very possible. If they heard our complaints about not enough boards, maybe they're going to make up for it here. But I'm really happy with the board selection we got. I know a lot of people are saying that obviously Rainbow Castle and Western Land were probably leftovers from the original Superstars that were originally going to be DLC. But honestly, I'm happy that they're added in here. It gives this game a little more variety with its boards, and it gives some people who like the older Mario parties a reason to try out this one if they really liked Mario's Rainbow Castle or Western Land. Alright, next up, let's talk about the mini games. There's 110 in total here, which is pretty insane. The highest of any Mario Party game. Now, there are a few mini games that we got to see here, and I'm going to try my best to summarize them as best as I can, and try to say where they might fit in this Mario Party game. Firstly, we got this cool looking obstacle course one. This one seems to be a free-for-all minigame where your objective is to get to the end of this obstacle course. I always love any obstacle course themed Mario Party minigame, so this one honestly was probably my favorite one. This one looks like it's a lot of fun. Next up is this Yoshi kind of racing game where you're trying to reach, I'm assuming, an endpoint while riding on a Yoshi. I'm assuming there will be some Yoshi controls where you can like flutter jump and all of that. That's kind of a guess. But it looks like a lot of fun. I wonder if Yoshi is going to be on his own or if Yoshi is going to ride a Yoshi. That'll be interesting to see. Then we have this mini game, which is a kind of picture switching mini game where I'm assuming the objective is to get the characters to swap pictures to make the picture, you know, a full, complete picture. Now, I don't know what this mini game could be. It looks like a one-player mini game where one player is kind of telling a lot of CPUs which way to send their photos, but this could also be a minigame where one player is telling a group of other players how to move their pictures. I really have no clue what this minigame's all about, but it is definitely a really interesting one. Next up, we get to our first motion control minigame, which is this hammer swinging minigame. This one's very self-explanatory. Hit your hammer a bunch and get all the nails in before the rest of your opponents. Very self-explanatory. Then we have mini golf, but you're not hitting a golf ball, you're rolling it around. Think like Pitter Platter from Mario Party 9. In this one, you're trying to roll the ball into the hole. Again, self-explanatory. Then we have this 2v2 arm wrestling one, which I'm assuming is a mashing minigame where the more you mash, the more your hand goes against your opponents. Think that hammer one from, I think it's Mario Party 5, where you gotta mash and get the hammer to smash the other players. I'm thinking it's gonna be something like that. Next up is this bullet bill 1v3 minigame where one player's in a bullet bill and trying to hit the other 3 players. Looks very fun. There's not much really more I could say about this game because it's kind of self-explanatory. Then we got this one-player F-Zero type minigame. This is going to be for the Koopathon, and basically for each coin you get, I believe you move a space on the board. So yeah, that F-Zero minigame looks like you're collecting coins on a path. Then you have this kind of pushing arcade machine thing, where like the stuffed animals are worth more coins and all of that. Again, self-explanatory. I'm assuming it's a timing minigame where you gotta time your button press to push the things off of the edge. Then there's this Bowser Chase one, which is a 20-player minigame, and I'm assuming it's part of the Coinathlon mode because that's the main 20-player mode in the game. But I don't know where this fits in. Maybe there's like a boss that you reach at a certain point where everyone competes in the minigame and like those who win move up a certain amount of spaces or something. I don't know. I never played the Coinathlon mode in Star Rush, so I don't really know too much about it. This minigame is interesting. This is a ski walk minigame is what I put it down as. It seems like a timing minigame where you have to time your movements. It seems like also like a rhythm minigame as well, but thing is, this one's 8 players. This is an 8-player minigame. I don't know where 8-player minigames fit into any of this because the Coinathlon mode is 20 players and regular Mario Party is 4 players. So I wonder if there's going to be an 8-player mode, kind of like Mario Party 7 has. That would be pretty interesting. Next up is Fruit Ninja, where you're striking veggies and trying to cut them in half. This is a rhythm minigame. So, I mean, self-explanatory. Move your Joy-Con when the vegetable comes into view and time it correctly. And then this minigame's really weird. It's like a Bowser boss minigame, except there's only like 6 or 7 players, so I don't know what this minigame is. Maybe it's part of like a story mode or like a co-op kind of mode. I got no idea what this is for. So those were all the minigames we got confirmed. A lot of variety, and I'll get into the variety of these minigames in a little bit, but it seems like a pretty good spread of minigames in my opinion. Next up, we're going to start getting a little bit more into speculation territory, so fair warning, a lot of this stuff that I'm going to say isn't confirmed, just my own personal speculation. So, firstly, we're going to talk about the modes in this game, the kind of modes that I can see coming up based on what we've seen. Well, first and obviously is the main Mario Party mode. We've seen it, we know what it is, self-explanatory. The next one that we already know about is the Koopathlon mode. Again, self-explanatory, 20 players online, all that jazz. This next one is an assumption, speculation, but like if they don't have this mode, it would be weird. That's just like a general free play minigame mode where you can just play any of the minigames you want at any time. Like that just seems like a no-brainer. And then the last mode, which is an assumption based on some of the minigames we've seen, I'm assuming the rhythm mode is going to return. I believe it was in Star Rush, and I know it was in Super Mario Party, so I can see this mode returning as well. Now let's talk about some little details that I noticed in this trailer. Well, the first little detail is one that I can't take credit for. This is something that Tris from GameXplain noticed, and they told me this, and I was like, wow, it's actually a really cool detail. Gambling from Mario Party 4 is back, kind of. In the mall map, there's actually a little section where it's like the ball minigame from Mario Party 4, where you roll out a ball, and whatever color you get dictates what prize you get. Pretty cool if you ask me. I'm assuming they're not going to bring back the lottery ticket system from Mario Party 4, but it is a pretty cool callback that we do like to see here. Now this one is a very, very small detail noticed by Camtro, one of my friends, that it looks like there's a bit next to Waluigi's name that almost looks like a hex from Mario Party DS. There's absolutely no instance that I noticed in this trailer where it looks like you can throw an item on a space. I personally did not see that at all. But if there's hexes, that means that you can throw items on spaces, which would be a very interesting move. It obviously would not be as in-depth as the orb system from Mario Parties 5, 6, and 7, but if you can throw items on spaces, I would love this Mario Party 10 times more already. Now this last point is a really weird one, and it goes back to something I mentioned earlier. Bowser is shown to be a playable character, but there's a few weird things about this. Firstly, Bowser has Bowser spaces. There are Bowser spaces on the boards. And secondly, 2 of the boards have Bowser as a main gimmick, being Mario's Rainbow Castle and King Bowser's Keep. So how is Bowser going to be playable on the boards while also being significant board events? I'm wondering if this Bowser is a different Bowser, because the name of the board is King Bowser's Keep, so I wonder if King Bowser is going to be a different version of Bowser? I don't know, that just seems weird to me. There's also the possibility that Bowser could be replaced by a different character when he's being played, but that just sounds like way too much effort for something that minuscule. So we'll have to wait and see what comes of that, but Bowser landing on a Bowser space, that just sounds like something that's modded into like one of the older Mario parties, to be honest. Alright, the last little details are going to be the things that either I don't care for or that I'm scared about. And there's only 2 things here, so I'm actually really optimistic about this game. Firstly, and this is a complaint I've made about like all the recent Mario Party games, is the UI. The UI where like the characters' names and the star count is just so lame. I don't get why they just use this basic vanilla boring white text. Like, look at all the old Mario Party games. They look really cool. I love all the character faces on those old games just because there's more color, it's more vibrant. But here, it's just basic. And like, if you remember like Mario Party 6, your character's outline glowed depending on whatever space they landed on. Here, there's just like a little dot next to their name that shows what space they landed on. It's just so lame. I hate it. I hate it every single time. It's so sterile and boring, and I still hate it to this day. And lastly, this is a concern I have specifically in terms of the minigames. Now, there's 110 minigames, which is a lot of minigames, but The concern I have kind of goes back to something that Super Mario Party had the issue of. Now, I don't remember how many minigames Super Mario Party had, but thing is, each mode didn't have a lot of minigames dedicated to it. Of course, the Mario Party mode, had a decent amount of minigames, but like the Rhythm mode only had like maybe 10 minigames, the River Survival mode only had maybe about 10 minigames, like there weren't a lot of minigames in each different mode. So it led to each mode really feeling like it lacked any depth or replayability, because once you've played it once, you've seen it all. There's no more minigames to unlock, like there's not a lot there. So I'm kind of scared, because of all the modes this game seems to have, that they're gonna kind of do the same here, where there's not too much in terms of, the other side modes. Now, 110 minigames is a lot, but if we put all the different categories into perspective, right? We have an 8-player minigame, so maybe there's 8-player minigames. We have the 20-player ones, right? So we have all those to put in consideration. We have the motion control ones, which is a whole other category that you might not be playing if you're playing in handheld mode or with a Pro Controller. You have the rhythm minigames, so now there's rhythm minigames you throw into the mix. Then there's the ordinary, regular minigames. And then there's, of course, any other potential minigames in any other mode. Like that boss one that we saw against Bowser. What was that about? That random 6-player boss minigame. Like, there's gonna be a lot of minigames, but I hope that each mode feels like there's a lot of minigames within them to give them replayability, to give them a little more substance than just you see it once and you've seen it all. So, I really hope that's the case in this game. Overall, though, I'm very excited for this game. I'm very, very excited to see what comes of this game. I'm sold on it already. The boards impressed me. The character roster is impressive. They brought back a lot of characters. All the minigames look really good from what we've seen so far. There seems to be a lot of different modes. It seems to have a lot of personality. This looks like it might be the best Mario Party game, in my opinion, since the GameCube era. So, there's a lot riding on this game for me. Superstars brought the franchise back, in my opinion. But Super Mario Party Jamboree has the potential to boost it even further. Especially if all those boards have different gimmicks. This is what I've wanted out of a Mario Party game for so long. Not to just go back to the basics and stay there, but to take the main mechanics from the classic Mario Party games and evolve them a little bit more. And if some of my ideas with the boards comes true, I feel like this game could very well do that. So, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe, all that stuff down below. And hit that notification bell so you can be notified of when I upload videos. And until next time, you guys, I will see you all in the next video.